So, let's start the reading, The Rise of Agrobots. So, the next time you stand at the supermarket checkout, spare a thought for the farmers who had helped fill your shopping basket as life is hard for them right now. This in turn inevitably means bigger grocery bills for consumers and greater hardship for the millions in countries where food shortages are a matter of life and death. Worse, studies suggest that the world will need twice as much food by 2050, yet while farmers must squeeze more out of the land, they must also address the necessity of reducing their impact on the soil, waterways, and atmosphere. All this means rethinking how agriculture is practiced and taking automation to a whole new level on the new model farms of the future. Precision will be key. Precision as the certain um, like something is certain, it is clear, or it is certain. So precision will be key. Why does a hole filled with chemicals if you can spray only where they are needed? Where they are needed. So hayır görmedik. Why does a hole filled with chemicals if you can spray only where they are needed? Each plant could get exactly the right amount of everything, no more or less. No, an approach that could slash chemical use and improve yields in one move, but this is easier said than done. The largest farms in Europe and the USA can cover thousands of acres. That's why automation is key to precision farming. Specifically, say agricultural engineers, precision farming needs robot farmers. Okay, one day we might see fields with agrobots, agricultural robots, that can identify individual seedlings and encourage them along with drops. The seedlings is a young plants, right? And encourage them along with drops, fertilizer. Other machines would distinguish mm, to find the difference between crops and problem widths. Problem widths is that the extra plants that is not necessary, um, and the machines uh, can find out the difference between problem widths and crops. Alright, and eliminate them with shots from high power laser or a microdot of pesticide. Okay, these machines will also be able to identify and harvest all kinds of vegetables, and these machines can also be able to identify and harvest, means to get all kinds of vegetables. More than a century of mechanization has already turned farming into an industrial scale activity in much of the world, with farms that grow cereals being the most heavily automated. That grow cereals like the grow crops, the cereals is related to the there are some kind of mm, connection between cereals and crops, and so the cereals um, as automated, most heavily automated, is being most heavily automated. Alright, but a variety of other crops, including oranges and tomatoes, destined to become processed food. Destined. Destined. Hmm. Destined. I didn't. I didn't write down. I didn't jot it down. I didn't jot it down. What does that mean? The that this this destined
destined,
destined intend destined so try me destined. As having a future that has been decided or planned at an earlier time. By destined for was destined for a military career was decided he was decided for a military career like his father before him. We seem destined never to meet. Having a future that has been decided. Destined. Having a future that has been decided or planned. He was destined for a military career like his father before him. He was destined for a military career like his father before him. Alright. Oranges and tomatoes destined to become processed food. Processed food is recycled foods are also picked mechanically, albeit means albeit to a slightly lesser extent. Yet the next wave of autonomous farm machinery is already at work. You probably haven't even noticed, for these robots are distinguished as tractors, or look like as tractors, or distinguished to change your appearance. It was clearly distinguished as to change appearance. Robots are distinguished. So robots are changed as tractors. Robots are distinguished as tractors. Many are self-steering, all self-controlling, use GPS to cross a field, and can even talk to their implements. Implements means tools, a plough or sprayer, for example. And the implements can talk back, telling the tractor that it's going too fast or needs to move to the left. This kind of communication is also being developed in other farm vehicles. A new system allows a combine harvester, say, to send a coal over the tractor trailer so the driver can unload the grain as and when necessary. Or it can unload, can put out of like unload means if you are unload something, you throw something. That means unload. And the grain The grain means just a second. Grain, grain. The seed or seeds from plants. The like the seeds. The pizza plants like grass, metal, rice. So grain means seeds, like a little, like fruits or vegetables or something like that. The grass, a plant like a grass such as rice or wheat. What can I smell? A very small piece of a hard substance, like this. Grain, 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 wheat, oats, rice, corn, barley, millet. Oh my goodness, what is that? There are so many grains. Okay, so we move on to the next two chapter. However, when fully autonomous systems take to the field, they'll look nothing like tractors. They'll look nothing like tractors. They want to look like tractors, means with their enormous size, with their a big size and weight. Today's farm machines have significant downsides. Have important downsides. Significant downsides. Disadvantages of a situation or thing. Oh goodness, downsides. Disadvantages. Oh goodness. Downsides. Significant downsides. Alright. They compact the soil. They compact the soil. They consist of parts that are positioned together closely or in a tidy way using very little space. Compacted, connected, compact, compact, to press something tight together, and to press something. Compacted, to press something tightly together. The soil, reducing porosity, reducing
Porosity.
The quality or stage of the quality. Porosity. The state of being porosity. Oh goodness. Porosity, the state of being. We shall assume that the porosity is the same in the two media. Porosity, porous, and the reducing porosity and killing beneficial life, meaning when crops don't grow so well. Simon Baltimore, who researches agricultural technology at Harper Adams University College in England, believes that fleets fleets of fleets of fleets of fleets of fleets fleet 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 a group of sheep or all of the sheep in the country name. Group of fleet, a number of buses, aircraft, under the control of the organization. A number of buses of lightweight autonomous robots have the potential to solve this problem, and that replacing brute force with precision is key. A seed only needs 1 cubic centimeter of soil to grow. If we cultivate to prepare land and grow most of the land there is too poor to cultivate. To prepare land and grow crops on it, the villagers cultivate mostly maize and beans. Try to develop any more prepare land and cultivate just that. We only put tiny amount of a little amount of energy in, and the plants still grow nicely. There is another reason why automation may be the way forward, according to Elder Van Henton, a robotics researcher at Wageningen University in the Netherlands. While the population is growing and needs to be fed, a rapidly shrinking number of people are willing to work in agriculture. Shrinking number of becoming smaller or less number of people are willing to work in agriculture. He emphasized points out other researchers such as Linda Colvin, an economist at the USA Department of Agriculture, and Philip Martin at the University of California, Davis, have studied trends in mechanization to predict how USA farmers might fare. The the money that you pay for a journey in a vehicle such as bus or train. Train fares. Permit fare. Calvin and Martin have observed how rising employment costs have led to the adoption of labor-saving farm technology in the past, citing the raisin industry as an example. City. To mention something as proof for a theory or as a reason why something happened, cited to mention. Citing the raisin industry as an example, in 2000 a bumper harvest crashed prices and with profits squeezed, farmers looked for a solution, with labor one of their biggest costs. 42% of production expenses of USA farmers on average started using a mechanical harvester adopted from a machine used by wine makers. By 2007, almost half of California's raisins were mechanically harvested, and a labor force once numbering 50,000 had shrunk to 30,000, as well as having an impact on the job market. With widespread adoption, agrobots may bring changes at the supermarket. Lewis Holloway, reading, who studies culture at the University of Hull, UK, says that robotic milking is likely to influence the genetics of dairy hares as farmers opt for robot-friendly cows with other shape and even attitudes suited to automated milking. Similarly, he says it's conceivable that agrobots could influence what fruit or vegetable varieties get to the shops, since farmers may prefer to grow those with, say, leaf shapes that are easier for their robots to discriminate from which discriminate. This. Or 7. To treat a person or a particular group of people differently, especially in a worse way from the way in which you treat other people. To be able to see the difference between two things or people. Sorry. To discriminate, to be able to see the difference from which almost inevitably these machines will eventually alter the landscape too. Alter to change something slightly alter the landscape. These machines will eventually alter the landscape. To change the landscape too. The real tipping point for robot Agriculture will come when farms are being designed with agrobots in mind, says Salah Zakaria, a robotics researcher at the Australian Centre for Field Robotics, Sydney. This could mean a return to smaller fields with crops planted in grids rather than rows and trees pruned into two-dimensional shapes to make harvesting easier. This alien territory intended by robots is still a while away, he says, but it will happen. Alright, let's break it down. However, when fully autonomous systems come to the field, they'll look nothing like tractor. Okay, with their enormous size and weight, today's farm machines have significant downsides. Today's farm machines have significant downsides, means significant disadvantages. They compact the soil, they connect it with soil, 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 with soil, connected with soil, reducing porosity, reducing quality of water. Leaving many small holes that allows water or air to pass through slowly. A small holes, reducing porosity and killing beneficial life. With farm machines, if they compact the soil, they are the soil reduce porosity and killing plants. Okay, meaning crops don't grow so well. Simon Blackmore, who researches agricultural technology at Harper Adams University College in England, believes that fleets of lightweight autonomous robots have the potential to solve this problem. He said the fields of lightweight fleet, a group of military ships commanded by the same person. A group of fleet. 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 And the potential to solve this problem. The fleet of the lightweight autonomous robots. Control C, and we put in this. Can you explain the meaning of this? Explain the meaning of this. Good phrase. The field calls fleets of cars. Relatively small, easy to move, can work itself robots. Group of small, light robots. A group of small robots. A group of small autonomous robots have the potential to solve this problem, okay, and that replacing brute force with precision key. Brute force, brute force, brute force, brute force. Man who trains people in an unkind cruel. His father was a drunken brute. An animal, I suppose. Brute, like brute, no physical strength only, and not through intelligence. Brute force, physical force, physical, physical force. Force with precision is key. A seed seed only needs 1 cubic centimeter of soil, okay, to grow. If we cultivate just that, if we cultivate, if we cultivate, if we cultivate, prepare and use land for growing plants. If we cultivate just that, if we prepare the land just that, if we use the land just that, if we cultivate just that, we only put tiny amount of energy and the plants still grow nicely. Alright. There is another reason why information may be the way forward according to Elder Van Hunter, a robotics researcher at Wageningen University in the Netherlands. While the population is growing and needs to be fed, a rapidly shrinking number of people, a small amount of a less number of people are willing to work in agriculture, he points out. Other researchers, such as Linda Colvin, an economist at the USA Department of Agriculture, and Philip Martin at the University of California, Davis, have studied trends in mechanization to predict how USA farms might fare. Might fare. Might fare. Might fare. Might fare to be successful. Might to be successful. This might to be successful. Colvin and Martin have observed how rising employment costs have led to the adoption of labor-saving farm technology in the past, citing the raisin industry. Citing mentioning the raisin industry as an example. In 2000, a bumper harvest crashed prices, and with profit squeezed, farmers looked for a solution. With labor one of their biggest costs, 42% of production expenses on USA farms, on average, they started using a mechanical harvester adopted from a machine used by wine makers. By 2007, almost half of California's raisins California California raisins. What is that meaning? It's interesting. The Californian raisin. The raisin is that this. It's look like the burning off the fruit in the sunny day. California's raisins were mechanically harvested and a labor force once numbering 50,000 to had shrunk to shrunk had shrunk to become smaller, to make something smaller. Had shrunk to sort of, oh my god, their number of raisins were mechanically harvested and a labor force once numbering 50,000 had shrunk, become smaller to 30,000, as well as having an impact on the job market. The widespread adoption of agrobots may bring changes at the supermarket. Levin Holloway reading, who studies agriculture at the University of Hawaii, says that robotic milking is likely to influence the genetics of herds. Dairy herds. Dairy herds. Dairy herds. Above a large group of animals. Can affect dairy herds as farmers opt for robot-friendly cows with ownership and even attitudes suited to automated milking. Similarly, he says it's conceivable. It is conceivable. It is conceivable. Conceivable. It is conceivable. It's possible to imagine to fully. Books on every conceivable subject. Possible to imagine. It's conceivable. Possible to imagine. It's possible to imagine. It is conceivable that agrobots could influence what fruit or vegetable varieties get to the shops, since farmers may prefer to grow those with, say, leaf shapes that are easier for their robots to discriminate from weeds. To see the difference from weeds. Almost inevitably, these machines will eventually alter the landscape to change slightly the landscape to the real tipping point for robot agriculture will come when farms are being designed with agrobots in mind, says Salah Zakaria, a robotics researcher at the Australian Centre for Field Robotics at Sydney. This could mean a return to smaller fields with crops planted in grids rather than rows and fruit trees printed into two-dimensional shapes. Pruned into Prion, what's that? Prion, polygon, Prion. Prion means the cut off branches from the tree, bush, or plant. Prion. To reduce something by removing things that are not necessary. Yeah. To reduce something, bring into two-dimensional shapes to make harvesting easier. Okay, this alien terrain intended by robots is still a while away, he says, but it will happen. It's great. It was planted in grips rather than rows, and fruit trees printed into two-dimensional shapes to make harvesting easier. Oh, printed into to reduce something slightly that are not necessary. Fruit burned into two-dimensional shapes to make harvesting easier. To make harvesting easier, okay? This terrain, this alien terrain area of land. The alien terrain tended by robots is still a while away, he says, but it will happen. Driving force. So there are lots of information about farming, especially the automatic farming, precision farming, and their impacts and their it is usefulity. It is how to use their benefits, their benefits, something like that. And the words I've learned raising, shrunk, hers, conceivable, discriminate, alter, print into. This is some useful words, but not all of them as natural. Some words are a bit formal. So that's all. We did. We tried to explain the means, but you can't do that. I tried to speak in English, so just watch. Don't just watch. Try to learn something, right?